And now to give us the facts behind the figures of the CBN's latest decisions on the policy rate, I'm joined by the CEO of Financial Derivatives Company Limited, Mr. Bismarck Rewane. Mr. Rewane, glad you could join us on the News at 10.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start by looking at this latest decision. Of course, interest rates are down for the first time in 5 years. Why the cut? And Mr. Rewane, why now?
Well, first and foremost, a cut was coming anyway.
It was coming.
It was coming. We had it coming. So leaving it so that inflation could have been tapered, and you can see here why the cut and why now. The red line is inflation, and the green line is the MPR. And you can see that they kept MPR flat, and that has brought inflation down from the point of 34.8 all the way now to 20.12. So that's good news, right? And you have to look at it in the context of fiscal and monetary policy. Now, the monetary policy officials, all right, have maintained their autonomy and independence and stayed the course. While fiscal authorities have been struggling to ensure that the money supply and spending doesn't go out of line. So if you look at what happened in the last 4 years, and that's where you have to look at it properly. In the last 5 years, you'll find that between 2020 and 2024, inflation spiked, right? And 2024 was the red year. Everything was red. So in 2025, so let's put it this way, 2023 was a disaster, because that's when we removed the subsidies and all that. 2024, the effect of that started to manifest. And 2025 is the year of recovery. And you're now beginning to see that recovery coming out and playing out in the economy. And the slides will show you what has happened. So, well, one, the cut is now. And two, like you said, now is the time for the economy to begin to reap the benefits of this. And the economy reaping the benefits of these policies takes some time. And therefore, you will see, as we go into under the next slides, this was the decision. Down 50 basis points, brought down the cash reserve ratio to 45, asymmetric corridor was narrowed, and liquidity ratio will remain flat. So generally speaking, loosening, so there's no money to spend by the people, right? And the government, the most important thing, the government debt service, once its rates go down, and you talk about almost 200 and something trillion naira of debt, if you reduce the interest rate by 50 basis points, it reduces the debt service burden, and the country is able to do a lot more with that. Not only the state governments, the federal government, and the central bank for that matter. And you'll see, as we go on to the next slide, you will see immediately, this is what your pocket, your purse, and your price.
This is the effect of what the CBN has come with.
Here it is. In 2020, the rice was 28,000, Gary was 13,500, petrol was 145, and the exchange rate was 440. Look at what happened in 2024. Everything went out of whack. 120,000 for a bag of rice, 38,000 for a bag of Gary, 1,100 for the price of petrol, and the exchange rate went to 1,700. See what happened in 2025. Rice has come down to 80,000, down by 33%. Gary has come down by 20% to 25,000. Petrol has come down from 1,100 to 865, thanks to the Dangote refinery bringing down prices. And the exchange rate has gone from 1,700 to today it closed at 15.15. So it has appreciated by over 11%. So that's great news for the man on the street. But it takes time for him to feel it. Yeah. Next slide, please.
Which brings me to the next question, of course. How do we sustain this?
Yes. No, first and foremost, there's a history of falling nations due to inflation. Argentina, 1970 to 1990, was a collapsed state and all of chronic high inflation, multiple currency changes. Germany, 1921 to 23, hyperinflation and loss of savings escalated and led to this Second World War. And Zimbabwe, of course, 79, inflation peaked at almost 79% and all of that. So now, again, the world has learned a few lessons. We cannot go down the route of hyperinflation. We need to manage that very well. And if you go on to the next slide, you'll see here, the macroeconomic scorecard is very simple. In Q2 2025 and Q3 2025, there were 5 green and 1 red. GDP growth went from 3.13 to 4.23. That's beautiful. Exchange rate went from 1607 to 1516. Great, green. Inflation came from 22.2 to 20.12, green as well. Brent oil price went from 66 to 67. The only thing that crude oil production went from 1.48 to 1.47, just one red. Gross external reserves is now at $43 billion. So this is the scorecard that shows that things are moving in the right direction. And now, what's the fiscal picture is very clear. One, GDP growth is positive, PMI is expanding, tax reforms and subsidy removal are boosting, and PMI at 54.2. On the monetary side, interest rates in September were actually reduced, and Nigeria
from 27 to 20.
27 to 20.12. That's inflation, and US is 4.25 to 2.9. So if you look at the difference between Nigerian inflation and the US inflation, we are narrowing, and therefore we are not in a bad. So the difference is 22.75 before, and now it's 17.2. So Nigeria is in a good place. Next, now, what happened? The US Fed cut by 25 bips, and the Bank of Ghana cut by 350 basis points. Inflation in Ghana was as high as 54%. It's now down to 6%. Bank of England staying flat at 4%, and inflation rate at 3.8. South Africa also held. So we are in a good place, generally speaking. Next. So what's going to happen? The ships awaiting berth.
That's between now and perhaps December.
December, yes. Ships awaiting berth will go, as you can see, 2024 is the green, 2025 is the red, and that's increasing sharply. So because people are borrowing, people are importing goods to do the December imports. Next, and oil production, you can see it. You can see the green line there. Rig count, Nigeria is actually increasing, and that is good for Nigeria. And oil production is to be sustained by stable security conditions. Next, now the PMS price, this is where it becomes interesting. From 1100, Dangote has been able to bring it down to 865
now,
and now 841. So
now 841.
Yeah. So basically, he has done a lot, fighting with Numpeng and all of that. But basically, at the end of the day, these prices have come down and it's bringing down inflation. And you can see that has declined by 21%. That's what Dangote has done. And you see the refinery is working. Now, 7 items we expect for December to cheer, not to fear. Higher prices, chicken will be up by 22%, tomatoes will be up by 62%, and pepper will be up by 25%. The ones that are going to come down, rice will be down by 17%, Gari will be down by 37%, eggs are going to go down to 5,700, and wheat is down by 10.34. So that's good for everybody. But what are you looking out for in December? We call it Dirty December. Last year, $71 million was brought in by people who came for Dirty December. This year, the expectation is at $143 million, twice the amount. And favorable exchange rate, increase in concerts and events, growth in nightlife, restaurants, and retail sector. You can see, when you go to the next slide, you'll see what happens. Now, we expect Ashake's concert on December 24. We expect Funke Akindele's movie, Behind the Scenes, on December 25th. We have Shiro Restaurant, that's caught by the Financial Times, and Hard Rock Cafe as well. Flytime Music Festival is also going to do that. So
all these are going to be bringing that huge amount, 143
absolutely
million.
So, and that's what you have to look out for. So it's a December to cheer, not a December to fear. Next slide. So in the end, oil prices to trade between 65 and 70, which is good. Oil production remain around the 1.5 million barrels. Naira to remain stable, trading between 1,500 and 1,550. Headline inflation will fall to 20%, and stock market will rally by 3%. MPC will ease rates again in November, we believe. So, dirty December.
Dirty December. But, of course, it should be a clean dirty December as well.
Absolutely. More money.
More money into the economy. Mr. Bismarck, thank you so much for your thoughts on the News at 10.
Thank you for having me.